Yes, good evening everyone. We're coming to you tonight from one of Europe's most beautiful capital cities, Madrid, with its majestic tree-lined avenues and fountains. And here we are inside the great, currently being refurbished, Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, the home of the defending European champions, the current Spanish champions, the Club World Cup winners this season, and only on Saturday night, winners of the Copa del Rey, the Spanish Cup. And as the big banner hanging from the stands to our left says, the Kings of the Cup, the European Cup, the Champions League, 14 times winners. And all around the stadium now, the three tiers, it is either white or white and purple, the royal colours of Real Madrid. And the players walked out, they came through the arch with the road to Istanbul written on it. Well, there's not far to Istanbul now. Two matches here. Last season's semi-final between these clubs, they were classics. And we're about to find out what this season's has in store. The two teams, the players, Chris Waddle, are lined up listening to the anthem, and now they start the handshakes. And the action is just a few moments away.
Yeah, we can't wait for it to start, can we? Let's be honest, this is a game we've been waiting for. Two excellent sides. It's interesting, John, the two last players out in the lineup were Haaland, obviously ex-Dortmund, and Alaba, ex-Bayern Munich, who will be coming across each other tonight, I would think, on many occasions.
Yep, the tracksuit tops come off. There's no need for those on this night. A warm night, beautiful night. Sun still shining. We're well out of sight of it, actually. The overhang here, the new roof of the Bernabéu is above our heads, and we're in our glass-fronted commentary box looking down on the action, and dozens and dozens and dozens of photographers pointing their lenses either at the team lineup, the team picture for Real Madrid, who are now all in white, or Manchester City in the red and black tonight, the diagonally striped shirts, black shorts and black socks. And the two captains come together over the halfway line. Benzema of Real Madrid, he lifted the Copa del Rey on Saturday night down in Seville, on a hot night there when Real Madrid had to play. Carlo Ancelotti's made two changes from that team, just the two. Modric coming back in, fully fit now, and Rudiger for the suspended Militao. So can't play tonight. Tchouameni on the bench. So Toni Kroos playing in his role, and the Real Madrid team, Courtois, who was so important in this tie last season, the saves that he made, Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba and Camavinga at left back again. In the midfield, Valverde, then Kroos in the middle and Luka Modric, and then Rodrigo on the right, Vinicius on the left and Benzema through the middle. And Manchester City, well, we'll have to see how they line up. Ederson in goal, whether it's Walker, Diaz and Akanji as a three, or whether Stones will be in the back line, or whether he'll be in midfield alongside Rodri. But Bernardo Silva on the right, Jack Grealish on the left, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Erling Haaland. I suspect, Chris, at times Stones will be in midfield and at times he'll be in the back line.
I don't, it's a strange one, this, because I think if they do, they're playing a four, John. You can see John Stones is in the back four, and Kyle Walker's got the right back, Mackenzie's got the left back, and I think that's the right thing, I've got to say. I was worried, I thought Real Madrid would enjoy if they played a back three. I think that's the best thing to do.
Test for Akanji though, as left back. But here we go, Real Madrid against Manchester City in the Champions League semi-final, just like last season, but this time the first leg here in the Spanish capital. The game begins and Real Madrid with the ball already in their left back position trying to play it out, and then Manchester City win it back. And here's Kevin De Bruyne, yellow numbers on the back of the red and black shirts for Manchester City, but it breaks down. Grealish herring after the ball, oh, and that's late as well. Grealish has come in there, and the referee, who is Portuguese, Artur Dias, will come across and speak to Grealish, and I think he's given the free kick to Real Madrid, certainly, but as far as I can tell, there wasn't even a word to Grealish.
No, and if that had been 15 minutes into the game, John, it'd probably been a yellow. You know, it's that old cliche in football, it's too early for a yellow card.
On Rodrigo, the two of them, just bounced away. Grealish came in at pace, the adrenaline obviously was high.
I think Grealish has hurt himself, he's limping low.
Oh, that's a blow. That is a blow, he's hobbling already. So let's keep an eye, leaning forward, he's got his hands on his knees, he's now crouching down, and actually having committed that foul, Grealish is trying to run this off, but that in the second minute of the match, that's a real setback if that is an injury for Jack Grealish. Welcome as well, by the way, to listeners to BBC Radio Manchester tonight. Joining us on 5 Live, listen as well to the live radio via BBC Sounds. But Grealish is doing his best to try and work this off. He's got it on the halfway line, and it's been brought forward by Akanji. Pep Guardiola there, urging him forward. Ball in field, Grealish stretches, is able to bring it under control, and then just moves away. He's not happy. He is not happy, no. He leans forward again, Grealish, and he is hobbling, hands on his knees again. I don't think he's going to be able to continue.
I think he will. I think he's got to run it off, John. He wears his socks around his ankles, doesn't he, more or less, and I think he's took a clatter to his shin. If it's his shin, it's actually going to be a bruise, obviously, so he should be alright. We'll give it the next few minutes, but I've always said you should join the Wingers Club, don't tackle.
That's Chris Waddle with us here on 5 Live and Radio Manchester as Haaland is fouled by Rudiger. Challenge from behind, and actually the referee is a good deal more interactive there than he was with the early challenge from Jack Grealish. He was straight onto that Artur Diaz and has given Rudiger a proper ticking off. It's a free kick.
Yeah, free kick. De Bruyne's got on it. It's about 45 yards. But yeah, he'll have a word. Listen, he's given some players a chance. He doesn't want to get a card out early, and he could have on both occasions.
Grealish just taking up his position on the edge of the area. De Bruyne takes this short. Gundogan now plays it into the back post. It's headed back across, but bounces down for Camavinga, who gave it away. He's given it away to Bernardo Silva, and then Bernardo Silva does well to win it back again, down in the full-back position, evades the challenge that comes in him. He could have gone down there. Eventually he's dispossessed, he's cleanly tackled, and Real Madrid work it away brilliantly. And now Vinicius, away down the left-hand side. Benzema, he played the ball to Vinicius. Benzema makes his way through the middle and receives the ball, but no, couldn't control it. It was slightly behind him from the left-hand side from Vinicius. Hit him on the backside, actually. Bounced down and Manchester City clear.
That was what Real Madrid can do. Back in the own corner flag nearly, weren't they? Well, little triangles there, and they get out, and Jesus Junior comes running away with it. He gets up to Kyle Walker and he stops because he thinks, I'm not going to run this guy.
Manchester City coming forward, and the ball played down the right-hand side. Across comes the cross from Kevin De Bruyne, but that's blocked by Camavinga behind. First corner of the match, and it's gone to Manchester City.
Great start of the game, by the way. It's quite lively. Both teams are very, very positive.
Corner from the right-hand side then that De Bruyne is going to take. So Manchester City bring Haaland towards the penalty spot. Gundogan arrives in there as well. Rodri too. Akanji now stalks forward, tall man, and also John Stones. Here is the delivery, which is glance headed right across the face of goal by Diaz. Comes out to Jack Grealish now, still inside the penalty area. Manchester City in the first half playing from right to left. So that's towards the end where, because of all of the construction work, there are no supporters, or very few supporters in the lower tier behind the goal. Grealish now on the left-hand side. Grealish back to the edge of the box. Gundogan, 2-goal Gundogan from the weekend, shoots, but that's blocked inside the penalty area. And Real Madrid are able to bring it away, but Akanji's won it back, and now square to John Stones. Stones, middle of the Real Madrid half. Kevin De Bruyne then pops it back towards the centre circle, and Manchester City, good, confident start from them. Remember in the semi-final last season in the first leg, Manchester City led at various stages 2-0, 2 early goals, led 3-1, led 4-2, and actually overall led 5-3 in added time at the end of the second leg, only for those agonising for City goals from Rodrigo, and then Benzema with the penalty winning it in extra time. But it's a clean slate now. De Bruyne now appears on the left-hand side. Gundogan, right-footed ball, right over there to the far side where it's taken down by Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo Silva just shuffles infield with it on his left foot. Square from him to Gundogan. Gundogan then curls it back out to the right-hand side. Walker got to it, but it bounced up, and Camavinga was able to play it away towards Vinicius. But Manchester City back in possession.
I've got to give City credit, John. They've come out the blocks quick. They're bossing the ball. Look, they're moving it around. Real Madrid can't get out their own half. They've had one attack down that left-hand side where Benzema nearly got in, but it's all Manchester City. They're just stroking the ball around with ease.
Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, Radio Manchester, live from the Spanish capital. And the ball bounces to Haaland, right side of the penalty area, tries to find his way initially across the box and past Alaba, which he did, but then the covering challenge came in and Real Madrid should clear it away. It's still in the left back area. Camavinga's trying to lift it right across field under pressure, which he did, to Carvajal, who with Grealish just a couple of yards away from him, just coolly backed away the experienced right back, the number 2, and headed it back to Rudiger on the edge of the penalty area. That's why they play for Real Madrid, Chris.
Yeah, I think what Real Madrid's doing, they're going to try and take the sting out of the game, the tempo, with the way Man City are playing, they've come out of the blocks quick. Real Madrid they just want to slow the game down, and they want to dictate the pace.
In the Scottish playoffs that are taking place tonight, latest scores: Partick winning 1-0 against Queen's Park, Adrionians 3-0 up on Falkirk, and Annan 1-0 against Dumbarton. The rest of them still goalless, as it is here in the first of this season's semi-finals in the UEFA Champions League. We will have commentary tomorrow night live from San Siro. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin are there on the first leg of the All-Milan semi-final. The winners will meet in Istanbul on the night of Saturday the 10th of June. And the ball is with Ederson, ball at his feet. That's possibly the first touch of the ball that he's had, and we've got 7 minutes on the clock. There's no pressure on him, so he passes it away, and then it's knocked back to him. Long left-footed ball, so casual from Ederson. Haaland gets up, wins it in the centre circle. Now De Bruyne scored the opening goal of the semi-final last season. Now Bernardo Silva into the area, up against Camavinga. De Bruyne with a shot, and down goes Courtois to make his first save, and then the flag is up, and it's a free kick to Real Madrid.
I'd say that what Man City is doing really well, John. They're very confident on the ball, which you expect from Manchester City. They're all technically very gifted, but they're making the pitch so big. Grealish is going so wide. Bernardo Silva's going wide on the right, and then Kyle Walker joins in, and Vinicius Junior doesn't really want to chase Kyle Walker, and there's a lot of space inside for De Bruyne. So Real Madrid are getting close to Manchester City's players.
Throwing to Haaland, the big Norwegian, blonde hair tied back, plays it out to the far side where it comes off Alaba and bounces behind. Vinicius it is over there, and bounces behind for a corner. So another corner to Manchester City from the right. So Courtois has made his first save of the semi-final from that low shot from De Bruyne from the edge of the box. Remember his man of the match performance in the final against Liverpool in France at the end of last season, and indeed his heroics here in the second leg of the semi-final. Corner then, De Bruyne, it's a deep one, and Bernardo Silva backing away, gets his head to it. It's out of the box now on the left hand side. Grealish seems okay now after that early problem that he had, and now it's back with Kyle Walker in the centre circle, who will turn and pass it back to Ederson. So 9 minutes played, Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. Just beginning to see the floodlights taking effect down there on the pitch. And now in the centre circle, Rodri, square to John Stones. Stones, 2, 3, 4 touches, now moving back infield, just forward of the centre circle. Gundogan with the captain's armband on. And now Akanji again. Gundogan has just moved out to the left hand side, the German, and then knocks it back infield to John Stones, who's going to take the ball forward, but then taps it back with his left foot to Kyle Walker, who is behind him. And then the England colleagues again exchange passes, Walker and Stones. And Manchester City absolutely dominating possession in the early stage.
He stepped into midfield, John Stones. When they get possession, he steps in. Kante's joined in as well. They're leaving 2-on-2 at the back. They're rotating very, very well.
They've worked on this so much, haven't they, in recent times. Grealish then to the edge of the box. De Bruyne tried to give him it back, but eventually it was deflected through to Courtois, who cleared up towards Benzema. And now centrally, Vinicius passes it to the right hand side. Crossfield pass from Carvajal. I think that's got far too much on it. It has. It just bounces through to Ederson.
That's all they're being allowed to do at the minute. Real Madrid, they've put bodies behind the ball, dropping deep, not letting City get behind them. And they're saying to City, you can have the ball, and they're just playing counter-attacking football. Real Madrid, they're waiting to try and nick that ball and break with the pace they've got, obviously.
But they're dynamite, this front three, on the 29 goals that Benzema has scored this season. That's including Ken in his last 9 appearances, those 3 hat-tricks that we've been talking about. And Vinicius on the left-hand side with 22 goals. That equals his best scoring season, but more than that, all of the assists as well. 10 assists in his last 10 appearances, and Rodrigo on the other side with 16 goals this season, including the 2 goals in Seville in the Copa del Rey final on Saturday
City will
night.
be very happy, John, because they're having to work from deep. They're about 70-80 yards away from the City goal, so when they pick the ball up, they can't get up the field how they want. At the minute they're playing a game where they're hoping City lose a rhythm, and then Real Madrid can get higher up the field. But at the minute, it's Manchester City who's dominating the ball.
Yeah. Real Madrid move it towards the halfway line. Camavinga then with a pass for Vinicius to chase, but Walker comfortably there. He's able to turn it back towards Ederson, and then a ball across the edge of his own box by Diaz, but Manchester City playing that brilliantly out from the back. Stones, Gundogan, sure touches, the touches of a confident team. Won their last 10 matches in the Premier League, 20 unbeaten in all competitions, won 15 of the last 16. The only one they didn't win was the draw in the second leg against Bayern Munich, when the work had been done in Manchester in the first leg. Carlo Ancelotti down there on the touchline, 4 times winner of the competition. As a coach, no one's done that.
For all they've had a lot of ball, John, you've got to say they've had a lot of ball, they're not creating any chances up. So Real Madrid will say, hey, you can have the ball. We're not worried about that, we'll drop deep. But you're not flashing the shots in, you're not putting crosses in. It's all possession. And Real Madrid will think, yeah, we understand that, we can cope with that.
Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. John Stones carrying it forward again, and then playing it to the right hand side. Bernardo Silva out there on the right hand side, on the right wing. Now square it comes to the left hand side. Akanji, Grealish takes the first touch, 2 men on him. Grealish taps it back in field to Rodri, right foot, low shot, and down goes Courtois to make a save. That was from distance, 25 yards plus, but he hit it well enough, and Courtois had to go down and push it wide and behind.
That's what you want to see. They're playing left to right, right to left, and that's the right thing to do. Rodri just gets it out of his feet and hits it. It's going in the bottom corner. It's a good save.
Rodri, who scored the opening goal, didn't he, against Bayern Munich in the first leg, with an excellent finish. The only goal that he scored in the Champions League, and that was bang on target for the bottom corner. Courtois had to save it, which he did. So a corner, third one for Manchester City. This from the left hand side, the first one that will be an in-swinger from Kevin De Bruyne, standing down there, both arms raised. This is very, very deep to the far side of the penalty area, where it's played back in by Bernardo Silva. Haaland goes down between 2 defenders, but referee Diaz is not interested, and in fact, there isn't much of an appeal from Manchester City, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, City again worked a routine from the corner, didn't they? Played it long, and put the second ball back in. Yeah, claims. I'm looking at the replay, and no, there's no penalty there.
A little bit of contact from Carvajal.
Yeah, but you're going to get that. It's just a little nudge in the back, which you'll get away with modern day football.
Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. Haaland, nice touch in the centre circle. Kevin De Bruyne, it's those 2 again. Watch out, Real Madrid. Then back to Haaland. First time shot left foot, but straight at Courtois, who is able to go down and just block it and scoop it up.
Better play, it's more positive. It's straight away. De Bruyne picks it up, looks for Haaland. He's not going to think twice. He pulls the trigger. Not the best effort. Easy save for Courtois. Here they go again.
Here they go again. Edge of the area. Grealish just outside the D. Back to the right hand side. Manchester City all over Real Madrid in these early stages. A quarter of an hour play. Still 0-0. Courtois has made 3 saves now. Ederson at the other end has been a virtual spectator. Manchester City, whatever the possession figures are at the moment, my guess would be certainly 70%.
I've got more than that.
More. Grealish on the left hand side with Akanji. Real Madrid, if they didn't know it before, they know they're on a tussle now against Manchester City, who've started so well. Grealish still going, takes it to the byline, cross, Haaland with a header, but straight at Courtois, who was able to make ground across his goal line, and it was straight at him, and he patted it down. Save number 4.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to say Jack Grealish do more of. He's definitely improved, and he's going down, he's injured, Jack Grealish. He just sat down and he waved to the ref blanked him basically and said play on, but he's not happy about he's had that run, he's got the byline which you want to see. There's Real Madrid.
Vinicius on the left hand side, so back to Benzema on the edge of the penalty area, then it's worked centrally, and then across with a touch Valverde to the left hand side, curled in, Akanji stoops and heads it away. Benzema was behind him, but Gundogan has it on the edge of his own penalty area. I'm not sure I'd even mentioned the name of Modric yet, as Carvajal commits a foul in the middle of the Manchester City half, and it's a free kick to the visitors. Still 0-0. Possession, Chris, 71%.
I've got 70 on mine, so you were right. Not often, you are.
Has to be first time for everything.
There you go.
Free kick on the edge of the box, but while Manchester City have dominated it, this is a problem. Phil Foden, of course, on the substitutes bench.
Good replacement, isn't it, if he is struggled. But I was like, it's nice to see Jack Grealish there taking the full back on and actually driving at him. When he comes inside and gets a shot off, this time he goes to the byline and he stands across up for Haaland. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see him keep checking back and giving it back to a midfield player.
Stones again carrying the ball over the halfway line and actually continuing his run after he's passed it to Bernardo Silva, who is pulled up for a foul, bundling over Camavinga, and they take a quick free kick to Kroos.
I think Guardiola will be disappointed in a way. I know he'd be pleased that they're controlling the game, they've got the ball basically all the time and they're dominating the possession, but they haven't really created enough chances for all the ball they've had. And here they go again.
And it's Haaland who gets it down 30 yards from goal, tried to give it to De Bruyne, but in-step Rudiger was able to get there. So 50-50, and it was the German international Rudiger who was able to get the decisive force on it. And so now here's Rodrigo on the right-hand side. Rodrigo slipping it forward to the edge of the penalty area. Benzema quickly into the box, but Ederson just that little bit faster.
Brilliant goalkeeping, spotted the danger. That was the first time we've seen Rodrigo in the game on this right-hand side. Cuts inside. Kanji didn't like that. Couldn't really turn him, and he got inside of him, and it was just slightly overhit.
It's Chris Waddle, 62 caps for England. Like Jack Grealish is now. Chris, once Britain's most expensive footballer, played in the final of this competition, this great competition that Real Madrid have really throughout its existence dominated. 14 times record winners. Manchester City looking for their first one. Come one day, maybe this year, Walker playing through to Bernardo Silva, who looked as though he was offside, but no flag. In the event, his cutback was cleared away by Real Madrid.
Well, I think Real Madrid are just playing that patient game, aren't they? They realise if they push higher, they're going to get caught. Man City are dominating the midfield. Stones steps in there, he makes 4 against 3. He's done it all hot first half, and Real Madrid have just got to defend deep, hope to catch them on the break. But Man City have been excellent, apart from they're not creating enough.
Here's John Stones taking it to the edge of the penalty area. Camavinga comes in with a challenge, sends him flying. The referee's allowed play to continue. Grealish has got it on the left-hand side. Grealish. De Bruyne's outside him, in the box though, back to the edge of the area. Gundogan turns, curls a shot, but that's high and over the top. And Gundogan is saying to the referee at close quarters, pointing to the area where John Stones seemed to have been fouled by Camavinga, just outside the penalty area.
I think the referee's saying he played the ball, which he didn't, but he didn't touch John Stones. I don't think that's a foul. Looking at the replay, I think yes, he didn't play the ball, but he didn't play John Stones either.
Well, Pep Guardiola is certainly making his point on the edge of the coaching area. When we were in the stadium yesterday listening to Pep Guardiola, he did just slip in the old line, I am a Barcelona fan. Always good to say that inside the Bernabeu. Guardiola, who's not won this competition since his Barcelona days. Back in 2011, won it twice as coach. Like Ancelotti, he's one of that select group who've won it as a player and a coach. Only 7 men can say that. Here's Akanji with the ball on the edge of his own box, playing it back to Ederson, who took a touch, even though Benzema was there, cleared it downfield. And then Diaz chests it forward. Rodri, nice ball lad. Rodri back in his home city, Madrid born, plays it to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Walker on the overlap. Bernardo Silva plays it to Walker, but Walker's cross is blocked behind by a stretching Camavinga, who went tumbling over the white line. Corner Manchester City.
City's build-up play has been excellent. The tempo they're playing at, the way they get the ball back and they move it quickly, they look excellent when they're going down the side. You just want to see them cross it a bit more, be a bit more positive on the delivery. But Real Madrid have got credit, they're defending very well.
Yeah, no Militao tonight, but Rudiger's not a bad man to come in, and Alaba as well, you know, all of his experience, Champions League winner, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. So another corner for Manchester City. De Bruyne towards the penalty spot, but that's easily headed away. Modric got underneath it. Very often, Chris, in my experience, when you don't mention Luka Modric, a point comes in a match where he is, shall we say, more heavily involved. And certainly that was the case. I remember in that second leg last season, he then, in the latter stages when Real Madrid took charge, he was running the show. So Manchester City with it in the centre circle. It's been very much eyes left here as we look from our very, very high position in the stadium that is, it's almost been rebuilt around us.
I don't think Eddie the Eagle would come up here.
City, the ball just forward and right of the centre circle. Back across it comes to Akanji, now to Grealish, and then Gundogan. Another touch from Grealish, just ran away from Stones, who has, because of City's domination of possession, Stones has effectively played in midfield for the most part so far. Stones then turns it out to the right hand side. Bernardo Silva is waiting there again, Walker behind him. Kyle Walker just allows it to run and then plays it square to Rodri. Again, this is absolute domination of the football by Pep Guardiola's team here in the Bernabeu. Still 0-0. They've only lost here twice this season, Real Madrid, as City played forward to John Stones, 25 yards out, back onto his right foot, then passes it straight into Modric, who's 2 yards in front of him. However, bounces back to the red and black, and now Walker has it for Manchester City. Thought about swinging the ball in, instead gives it to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Then Kyle Walker again, whistles from the home supporters. Real Madrid can't get the ball off Manchester City.
They're quite happy, John. They're not going anywhere. You know, it's great, yes, and you take the sting out of the game and you're away from home, and I get all that, but this game's there to be won. You've got to put the ball in the box sometimes, and they don't. De Bruyne tried to find Bernardo Silva on the edge of the area, but men in white converged on him from both sides, and Real Madrid played it up towards the halfway line to Vinicius, where it's headed out of play by Walker. Look at John, the amount they're dominating the game here, I'd be looking at somebody who can open the door by going past somebody, and that's what they're lacking at the minute. And waiting, I'd be looking at Mahrez at half time. Well, Grealish seems to have shrugged off whatever the problem was, that knock on it, if it was his shin. Real Madrid now with Rodrigo on the right hand side. A rare attack from Real Madrid. We're into the second part of the first half now. 23 minutes on the clock. Carvajal goes infield towards Kroos, who curls it in, but that is nowhere near anyone in a white Real Madrid shirt, and Walker's able to drop down to his knees and chest it back down. I think when they get the ball, Real Madrid, I'm sure a lot of players will be talking to Toni Kroos there about keeping the ball, because it gives them a breather at the back four, because it's all been City. As I said though, the negative for City is that they're not putting any balls in the box, and they're not asking enough questions for the possession they've had. Toni Kroos playing as the middleman in the midfield, so he's very much in that Rodri role, if you like, from a Manchester City point of view. They say that that's where he feels comfortable now. City still in possession, but deep inside their own half, and Rodri has been dispossessed by Vinicius, who plays it across, and a crucial interception by a sliding Diaz in his 6-yard box. Otherwise that would have been a tap in for Benzema. Wow, Vinicius Junior there chases a ball down. Man City a little bit sloppy, they give it away so cheaply. Rodri outside the front flick, and what a ball across the goal. Definitely went past the goalkeeper. Brilliant defending at the far post. Yeah. It's a dangerous ball to beat the goalkeeper. Diaz full stretch, right foot, just clears it. You cannot give Real Madrid possession in that area of the field with these three, and Vinicius in the form that he is. You know, in the position that he plays, I would say he's as good as anyone around. Vinicius, great talent, just 22 years old, Champions League winner, of course, scoring the only goal in the final in France last season. But there's a poor pass forward from Benzema, out of play for throwing to Manchester City. Yeah, he's a very dangerous player. Both, you can see why they get success. They've got terrific pace on both flanks, and Benzema is a class centre forward. But you've got to say, Man City so far have dominated this half, and you just want to be a bit positive in the final third, and it's there to win. It's their game. Still 0-0. Lawes Grealish carrying the ball back towards the edge of his own penalty area and being chased all the way by Carvajal, who was all over the back of him. Eventually shoved him over and conceded a free kick near the edge of Manchester City's box. 25 minutes played. Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. You can listen to the commentary tonight as well on 5 Live final score via the red button, via the iPlayer, via the BBC Sport website and app. Real Madrid pressing Manchester City, but excellent work from City, from Rodri to play it out from the edge of his own penalty area, and then Carvajal again with a little foul on Grealish on the halfway line. Yeah, he's got injured this time, Carvajal. Grealish is not happy. He's saying to the ref how many times.
Well, that's two in the space of what?
It's so deliberate. We're seeing the replay. So deliberate. That's a yellow card. Referee doesn't seem to want to get them out of his pocket. Maybe he's forgot them.
First leg of the semi-final. I think the referees, certainly for Champions League matches, European matches, are always conscious of that. So 0-0 tonight, still waiting for the opening goal here. More goals in the playoffs though. Annan 2-0 up on Dumbarton, Partick 2-0 up on Queen's Park, and Adrionians 4-0 up on Falkirk in those first legs. 0-0 here, commentary from Milan. Tomorrow night, commentary on the West Ham AZ Alkmaar semi-final in the Europa Conference League. That's on Thursday night. Commentary from Old Trafford on Saturday, Manchester United Wolves, and then on Sunday commentary on the matches involving the top two in the Premier League, Manchester City, the current leaders, and Arsenal. So 5 Live, the only place you will hear all of that this week. Akanji with the ball inside his own penalty area. Akanji to Rodri, who is put under pressure by Valverde. Manchester City then played forward long to Gundogan. Rudiger was in tight with the challenge there. Then it bounces away off Carvajal. Alaba knocks it back to Camavinga on the edge of his area. He threads a pass. Oh, lovely. Throws with a lovely economical touch out to the left-hand side. And the referee has blown the whistle because Gundogan is down. And I think was he caught late by Rudiger? Yeah. Or whether there was another incident off the ball, because the Manchester City players are now surrounding the referee, and play's been stopped here, and I've got a feeling that something happened off the ball as well. Gundogan went down, he was blocked by the arm.
There's an elbow going on his side of his face.
Yeah. As the two of them came together, Rudiger, just with his arm tucked in by his side, but it did make contact with the side of Gundogan's face.
Very clever how he did it. Pep Guardiola now has brought 4 or 5 players over and he's having a chat with them. He'll be very pleased the way they're playing. They've played excellent, I've got to say, like, possession-wise. It's just that final third, they haven't asked enough questions. It's got to be a bit more positive.
The AAR will obviously have a look at that. It is the man who UEFA claim is the best man around, who's acting as the VAR. I mean, Gundogan just knocked the ball past Rudiger, who then came in, the two of them collided at close quarters, and it was just that arm.
I know, it looks like it. I just think he's run into him because Gundogan dropped the ball past him, and he saw, you're not getting past this, so I'm going to obstruct you, and it maybe looked like he's put his elbow towards his face, but that would be a massive call if they're looking at that.
I mean, they'll have a look at it, but I can't see on the evidence that we've seen that any further action will be taken for that. It is Massimiliano Irati who is the video assistant referee. Almost half an hour played, and now, you know, the concern now is Gundogan and whether he's suffered serious damage here. It did catch him on the right-hand side of the face as he was falling, as Gundogan came in. So there is an issue, you know, whether there is a facial injury there. It was on his cheekbone, round about that sort of area, and he was lying flat on his face, the Manchester City captain. I don't see any movement down there on the side of the pitch which suggests that Manchester City might make a change, and he's now climbing to his feet. He's got his hands on his hips. The Manchester City medical people are doing all of the various checks on him, and they will lead him off the field. And I must say, he does look a little groggy as he's walking towards this side of the field with the Manchester City medical people either side of him. It didn't seem that he was walking.
I think he's alright, John.
Do you think he's okay?
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has caught him. I don't know if it was deliberate. I don't think it was, but people may say it was. But anyway, I think he'll get on with it. Yeah, it was a bang to the head, and I'm sure he'll be okay.
I can see. I think that's Rodolfo Borrell who is down there, who is indicating that Manchester City are not happy with that challenge, and now Gundogan wants to come back onto the field, but the fourth official, Daniele Orsato, who is delaying his return and eventually does allow him back onto the pitch. So play resumes, still 0-0. Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. In all Manchester City, but Grealish has given it away, and Rodrigo with a cross is over the top of a leaping Vinicius. Couldn't get any touch on it with his head, and it bounces out into the right back position where Walker hits a long pass up towards Haaland, but Carvajal was underneath it to head it all the way back to Courtois, who's made 4 stops, I think we'll call them, a couple of decent saves, and another couple of efforts that were straight at him. From first of all De Bruyne, Rodri's shot, and then Haaland with a shot and a header. So still 0-0. And then Modric is challenged, clean challenge on him by Rodri. Manchester City bring it forward again, that's a nice touch. Back to Kevin De Bruyne now. Haaland turns into the centre circle, uses Grealish with his black socks down almost to his ankles. Gundogan now back into the action. Bernardo Silva's free on the far side, but Gundogan didn't use that pass. I mean, he's standing over there in... there's no one within 20 yards of Bernardo Silva out on the right wing.
I mean, Man City have bossed this game, let's be honest, but they've had chances, John. When Real Madrid have come forward, they've took the ball off and they've slowed it down. You know,
John Stones takes the ball on, it just opened up for him, but then it closed in on him on the edge of the penalty area, came to nothing. And now Camavinga has the chance to take it over the halfway line on the left-hand side. Benzema is on the left wing ahead of him. Benzema is there. Vinicius on the edge of the box, but it's back to Camavinga near the dead ball line, and then in comes the challenge to block it behind for what is given as Real Madrid's first corner. Kyle Walker disputes that. He said it came off Camavinga last.
Oh, I saw the replay here. No, it didn't. Kyle Walker kicked it out.
So it's a corner, and Kroos has gone across to take it. Kroos takes a quick one. Manchester City have got to be sharp here. Modric, 25 yards out, back onto his left foot, curls it into the back post where it's headed up and away by Diaz, and then volleyed further away by Akanji in the D on the edge of the penalty area. Just for a moment there, I thought Real Madrid might have caught them out.
They carry a threat, don't they? You know, when they do go forward, they do look very dangerous, and we're not seeing a great deal of them going forward because Man City have played so well.
Real Madrid have got to the semi-finals or beyond in this competition in now 11 of the last 13 seasons. You know, that is the scale of their domination. They've won their last 8 finals in this competition, not since Liverpool beat them in the 81 final of Real Madrid, lost in the final of this competition, and the last team to beat Real Madrid in any European final, Chris? As they take it over the halfway now, give you a moment to think about that. Valverde takes it on, right-footed ball in, Benzema takes it down, still Benzema, defenders are there, tried to play it back, and the referee says that there was a handball by Benzema as it bounced up, and it's a free kick to Manchester City.
But they carry a threat. I tell you what, Man City, as you said, 70% possession, probably come down a little bit now, but it is a handball, we've seen the replay. But when they go forward, Real Madrid, they do put the ball in the box and they do look to score. Whereas City, you've got to say, need to be a bit more positive when they go forward.
0-0, Real Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. 5 Live, Radio Manchester from the BBC. And if you're on the move, you can listen to the live radio via BBC Sounds. And the last team to beat Real Madrid in the European final was none other than Alex Ferguson's Aberdeen in the Cup Winners' Cup final back in 1983, 40 years ago this year. Long ball forward for Manchester City, but that just drifts out of play. The pass from Rodri, who I think was saying that they took a flick off Rodrigo, but Real Madrid take the throw and Rudiger passes it back to the edge of the penalty area. Courtois passing it out to Alaba. Real Madrid, Camavinga now, Modric back to Camavinga, who is away from Bernardo Silva, who's chasing him, but Camavinga is able to play it infield to Vinicius, right foot shot. Oh, what a goal! Real Madrid take the lead. What a noise inside the Bernabeu, and what a shot! They've soaked up the Manchester City pressure, and Vinicius Junior, whose name already at 22 years old, it's written all over the Champions League, has scored another cracker, and Real Madrid are in front 1-0.
I've got to say, what a goal that was. How positive for Real Madrid. Camavinga's having a very, very good first half. Little flick by Modric. Camavinga's away now. He's away from Bernardo. He can't catch him. Then he just composes himself, gives it finishes to her. He's 25 yards out and he smashes it with his right foot outside the D. Alisson, he cannot get near it. Edison, cannot get near it. And it's gone in the top corner. What a goal. I think you've got to say it has been against the run of play. But when Real Madrid have gone forward, they've been more positive than City.
And there we are, Chris. Real Madrid.
That's what I'm saying. They know how to win games and manage games.
36th minute.
John, that was a fantastic finish.
Super finish.
Oh, you don't say that.
Almost 25 yards out, I would say, and listen to what that's done. And the noise as well, when that hit them there, inside this stadium.
It's what they needed, John, because I've got to say City have dominated the football match and, haven't saw a great deal of Real Madrid, let's be honest. The odd flash of what they can do. But City have had control, the pace, the ball, but that's what they can do. It's Real Madrid.
And what a move as well. Camavinga started it.
He's had a good half.
Almost in the left back position, which he's playing, but a crucial touch in there as well from Luka Modric, who set Camavinga away, and Camavinga carried it on and on. Bernardo Silva tried to catch him, and then Vinicius, who moved into a central position onto his right foot, and what a finish, and an absolute explosion of noise.
You see the confidence now around Madrid. Look, the crowd's right behind them. Look, they're passing it around. There's a free kick. The game's changed within minutes, 5 minutes I would say. Real Madrid have come into it. Man City dominated up to what? It's 30 odd minutes, and you've got to say that Real Madrid now have come to life.
So Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0, and it is first blood Real Madrid. First blood Carlo Ancelotti. And here they come now, tails up. Here is the goal scorer, Vinicius, who has now reached a career best number of goals in one season. And Benzema takes it away from Bernardo Silva, but it was blocked inside the penalty area. Walker was able to play it away up towards the halfway line.
That's rattled them, that goal. City lost the rhythm. The crowds got lifted. They've had nothing to shout about, let's be honest, the Real Madrid fans, and that goal, special goal, it's lifted them, and City now have got to go again.
23rd goal of the season, 7 in the Champions League for Vinicius Junior, the man who scored the winning goal in the final last season, and indeed scored a couple of goals. Remember his goals at Anfield in the famous 5-2 win there for Real Madrid in the last 16, the goals that he scored last season, and here he is now. Great talent.
Yeah, listen, the two wingers here, I've always said, wingers, you've got pace, full-backs nightmares, defenders nightmares, but it's knowing how to use that pace, and this guy knows how to use it.
So 1-0 Real Madrid, and here is Luka Modric, the 37-year-old number 10, giving the ball out towards Vinicius Junior, who passes it forward, but it runs through to Ederson. Half times in the playoffs, Partick 2, Queen's Park 1, so a goal back for Queen's Park. Adrianians 5, Falkirk 0, Alloa 1, Hamilton 0, and Annan 3, Dumbarton 0. All half time scores in the 7:45 kickoffs. We've got just over 5 minutes plus added time to play here. So that is a setback for Manchester City, of course, to go a goal behind. But for such a long time in the semi-final matches last season, it was Manchester City who were in front, and in the end it was Real Madrid who progressed through to the final at the Stade de France and then won it for the 14th time. Here's Stones back to Kyle Walker. The whistles from the home supporters, but I think for large parts of the first half they will have been fearing what was about to happen, but now whistles, and they're a good deal more comfortable. Diaz gets the ball back on his right foot. Diaz receives it back from John Stones. Manchester City, the last team to beat them, were Tottenham back in February in the Premier League. Bernardo Silva is just caught there over on the far side by Camavinga, free kick taken quickly. John Stones is back in business. Bernardo Silva has space on the right. Camavinga comes across. Bernardo Silva tries to drift infield, which he does, gives it to Rodri, and Stones again is closed down by Kroos. So back it comes more centrally to the left-hand side to Akanji, who takes it on around Rodrigo, looks for the pass to De Bruyne. De Bruyne challenged by Carvajal, left it across to the back post. It's over Haaland. Bernardo Silva is back out there on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva against Camavinga, then back to Walker nearer the halfway line. And Walker, full 360 degrees, then loses out to Vinicius, but Bernardo Silva wins it back, and he's managed to shrug off Camavinga. Still going Bernardo Silva. Gundogan on the right-hand side. Gundogan, low ball across the 6-yard box. Grealish couldn't get there. However, De Bruyne takes up possession on the left, and his cross hits Valverde and bounces behind for a Manchester City corner.
That's a great chance for Bernardo Silva. Does ever so well. Plenty of time, doesn't panic, puts it in the danger area. As you say, Grealish, Haaland couldn't get near it.
No, Carvajal did well actually against Grealish. Just, the physical presence of Carvajal, who's been around the block, 31 years old, and just blocked him. Corner then, De Bruyne at the back post, which is headed across, but the referee spotted an infringement in there, a foul on Kroos, is it? Anyway, it's a free kick to Real Madrid, who lead 1-0.
I think Pep Guardiola will say the objective company, but our plan was to keep the ball, get the crowd quiet. They did it, but they forgot to try and create. And they've had a couple of half chances, but for all the possession they've had, John, I'm not really saying the goal has made a save where you think, wow, what a save. And you look at Real Madrid, they've gone the other way. One shot really, and it was a terrific shot, goes in the top corner.
Half-time approaching.
I'd definitely look at Mahrez. They need somebody to open the door here.
Mahrez scored here last season, late on in the game as well. And as we heard at the start of the programme on 5 Live tonight, at the time, my instinct was that might well have been enough for Manchester City to win through to the final, but not so. 1-0 tonight. And Vinicius scoring the goal in the 36th minute after Manchester City domination, really. But Real Madrid now being cheered there, every move. Alaba passing the ball back to Courtois, that got a huge cheer. And then headed forward by Stones. Modric takes that down brilliantly. Just stuck out the leg at right angles. How is he doing that at 37, Chris?
Chiropractor.
Of course. He did tell us that before the game. Courtois passing it out with his left foot. And then Carvajal chesting it, can't keep it in, and he's just dropped the ball off the field accidentally on purpose away from Grealish in the way that's being talked about a great deal at the moment. Gamesmanship, all the top teams do it, and probably many of the not so top teams. Real Madrid winning 1-0, half-time approaching. Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne goes for an early ball right across the penalty area. Grealish is then nudged into by Carvajal, almost off the pitch.
That's a foul.
He's nudged him, sent him flying, crashing into the hoardings, and now Carvajal went across there in the suggestion that he was looking to see how Grealish was, and then has reacted by throwing himself down and giving the impression, certainly, that Jack Grealish has either kicked out at him or hit out at him. And Grealish now back on his feet. Carvajal's left in a heap off the pitch.
I don't like to say this, John. I think it's cheating, and it's a foul. It could have been a foul. Carvajal barges. He doesn't go on the ball. He barges Jack Grealish into the advertising, into the advertising boards. Then he has a go at him. And he does a punch.
He throws his arms up. Does he actually make contact with him?
It's a right jab.
The angle that we've seen, we've got a television screen in the commentary box here, and the angle that we've been shown, I mean, that's not telling us anything. I mean, he threw his arms up, Grealish, and it looks as though play is going to resume. So one has to assume that VAR have looked at that and have had better angles than we have. And that would suggest that, as you suspected, Chris, maybe there wasn't any contact there at all. And now here they are again, Carvajal and Grealish, together, as the ball bounces out of play off Carvajal. and whether he said something there. Grealish did not react. He just sort of skipped and hopped round him. He said something.
The referee's got to put it to bed. Yeah, he's got to get a card out because it's getting on everybody's nerves. They're just off the ball. They're just pushing each other and shoving each other, and he's got to put an end to it. No, he's telling them that's the final warning.
Okay, so a free kick to Manchester City.
He took his dinner money off him.
And we're seeing another replay of oh no, that's the incident that we've just seen where no words spoken, but that's about it. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0 is the score. An excellent finish from Vinicius Junior, right foot just outside the D, absolutely flew up past the diving Ederson to his right. Super finish, a great move actually. And into added time, that thin electronic scoreboard on the far side at the front of the middle tier reading RMA Royal Crest 1. As there's a foul centre field, and a yellow card does come out this time for Kroos, who has caught Gundogan as the ball bounced away from him. And the yellow card is...
Tony Kroos is saying it's my first challenge. I understand that, but it's a bad one, mate, and you get a yellow card for it. It's simple as. So, if you look, he's coming. He just comes across and Gundogan moves the ball brilliantly. That's a definite yellow card.
An outstretched leg.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he's caught him with an outstretched leg around the top of his hip. The ball had long gone, and it's a yellow card. So that is the first booking of the match. You couldn't ignore that one, Chris.
No, that was definitely yellow.
2 minutes of added time has been played. Free kick for Manchester City. Gundogan is okay, back on his feet. Kevin De Bruyne takes this in. Goalkeeper's come a long way. Courtois to get a hand to that, which he did, but flap it out of play. And the half-time whistle goes, and there we are. Manchester City, who approached it brilliantly, really, from the outset. The early stages of the first half, dominated possession, created chances. Courtois made a couple of changes. Real Madrid soaked it all up and then scored a super goal.
I've got to say it's been a great game to watch. Manchester City dominated possession. Didn't create enough for me, John. The final third, they weren't positive enough. Not enough shots, not enough crosses. Haaland really hasn't had anything to work on. And for all of dominated the possession, the final third, they've run out of ideas and they need an injection. Maybe it's definitely Mahrez, if not Foden. They need someone in that final third who's going to commit and look to put that ball in the net. Real Madrid, typical Real Madrid. Play on the break, manages the game. If they've got to defend, they'll play deep, and they do that. Catch teams on the break, and they've done it. And you've got to say the goal is absolutely fantastic. And 1-0 to Real Madrid against the run of play, really.
Yep, bit of niggle in the match as well. We'll have to see if Gundogan's okay, see if Grealish is all right at half-time. His tussle with Carvajal will, we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. But at half-time, here in the Spanish capital, Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. Yes, Real Madrid leading Manchester City by 1-0. And the players have walked up the steps from out of the dressing room area and are back on the pitch. Real Madrid about to kick off, wearing the white shirts, white shorts and white socks, and that is what they do now. And off we go for the second half of this first leg. No changes at the break, so Grealish and Gundogan are both given the nod to continue. So the ball is back with Courtois, who will play it out from the back to Camavinga, who is instrumental in the only goal so far. And then Real Madrid win a throw-in near the halfway inside their own half on the right-hand side. So Madrid with Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba and Camavinga the back four, Valverde, Kroos and Modric in the middle, Rodrigo, Benzema and goal scorer Vinicius. Manchester City with Bernardo Silva centrally. Here is Gundogan, square from him to Rodri. Now to Kevin De Bruyne on the right hand side. Chris Waddle has called for De Bruyne to be involved more, and he uses Stones to his left hand side, who passes the ball to Grealish. Grealish, who finds Rodrigo coming across, so he strikes a pass all the way back to the halfway line to Akanji and Diaz. Stones now just moves the ball from left to right, and back it goes to the halfway line. Manchester City team then: Ederson. For the most part, it has been Walker, Diaz and Akanji, three defenders, John Stones and Rodri in midfield, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Grealish, and then Haaland. And here is Gundogan trying to slip the ball through, but Carvajal was able to slide in and put it out for a corner. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, positive start again from City. They're a little higher tempo. De Bruyne has had 2 or 3 touches already. They're starting to press a lot higher, and I'm sure Pep Guardiola said, look, we've got a lot of possession, but we're not moving the ball quick enough, we're not having enough shots, not enough crosses. We need to be a bit more positive.
Well, it's a rare thing this season for Manchester City not to score in a match. Actually, 5 times in all competitions have they failed to find the net. Corner, De Bruyne takes it short, then gets it back, and his low ball in is easily claimed by Courtois, who just steps forward on the edge of the 6-yard area and scoops it up into his chest.
That was a poor corner. De Bruyne to Grealish, and Grealish's return for De Bruyne to put it in really left him nearly in a 50-50 challenge.
Sorry to hear the news at half-time, but it's raining heavily in Milan. But I'm sure that, well, Ian Dennis indeed told us that it hasn't dampened anticipation for tomorrow night's activities. So tonight we're on 5 Live, Radio Manchester, but tomorrow night, 5 Live, we'll have that commentary from Milan, and then Thursday night, the West Ham AZ Alkmaar first leg in the Europa Conference League. So European commentaries all 3 midweek nights. Real Madrid against the red and black of Manchester City this evening. Rudiger puts his foot on the ball and taps it back behind him to Toni Kroos. Camavinga then back to Alaba. Rudiger has stood up to the challenge of Haaland tonight. Chris, you've noticed?
No, I think he's relishing it. I think he's trying to bully him, he's trying to fight him, and he's enjoying it. I think Rudiger likes that type of game. Haaland's got to be a bit more clever and drag him into areas, come short, spin. He's got the pace on him, definitely, but he's actually trying to muscle play up against him, and Rudiger's loving it.
But I suppose that's where Kevin De Bruyne comes into play as well.
To be fair, I feel for Haaland, because nobody spots his runs, and Bernardo Silva for me has got to get more involved as well. I'd push him inside, and you can take one of the midfield players off of me and put Mahrez on his right hand side, put Bernardo Silva in the middle.
Real Madrid leading 1-0, and the ball is back to Kroos, into the halfway line to Camavinga, and now here's Modric, almost in the left back position. Key touch in the build up to the goal. And if you've not seen it, if you weren't listening in the first half, a super goal that Real Madrid scored in the 36th minute. And the man who scored it, Vinicius Jr., great talent, playing the ball in field now to Valverde, the Uruguayan World Cup player. Now to Rudiger, and over there on the right-hand side, Carvajal, who's had a right tussle with Grealish tonight. And then Real Madrid have possession again in the central third. Modric, again over on the left-hand side here, and Camavinga in a much more advanced position, almost playing as a midfielder in these early stages of the second half. And in fact, Camavinga has now moved forward. Benzema gives it to him, a flick by Camavinga to Vinicius, Benzema, and then Vinicius again, angles a little ball through to Benzema, then back to Vinicius, now to the edge of the area, Carvajal, Benzema with a shot left-footed from the angle, but up and over the angle of post and bar and into the canvases that cover the seats in that lower tier.
By the way, John, that would have been one of the goals of the season. What, they must have had the ball for at least a couple of minutes. That passes, and what little give and goes, and Benzema with his left foot. Must have been a deflection.
Off Stones,
yes, slight deflection. What a move that was.
Did well to spot that, the referee, because it was just a tiny flick off the toe of John Stones. Corner then for Real Madrid. Deep one. Ederson's come, and he's got an uppercut punch on it out towards the right-hand side. Benzema keeps it in play. Orange boots. Benzema to the corner of the penalty area, then gets it back, plays it square. Kroos is there, but was quickly closed down by De Bruyne. Real Madrid though looking threatening here. Vinicius into the penalty area on the left-hand side, tries to cut back, and down goes Rodri and wins the free kick. Hearts and mouths there for a moment. I did wonder whether he might be about to foul him, but in fact he was fouled. Rodri, free kick Manchester City.
He did ever so well. Puts his body up against Vinicius Jr. and blocks him off, and he gets it awarded with a free. But that, the last 2-3 minutes, Real Madrid have come back. First half they sat back, they let Man City have the ball. Real Madrid are enjoying the ball now. They've come out a bit more.
1-0 Real Madrid lead. Not the goal fest of the first leg in Manchester last season yet. 4-3 at finished in the end. Real Madrid finishing very strongly. Manchester City with John Stones. Stones pulling the ball onto his right foot, waiting, and then rolling the pass to Bernardo Silva. First time touch to De Bruyne inside the penalty area on the right. Courtois makes the save, going down, shot from the angle, and Courtois made the save, but in fact De Bruyne is flagged offside.
I thought he was just offside when he receives the ball. He's just offside.
I think he was
just offside. I thought the linesman, he should flag there. That's a terrific save by Courtois. And De Bruyne with pace gets his right arm out, right hand. Brilliant save.
Excellent save. Again, there aren't many better around than Thibaut Courtois. Kept it out. Didn't know that De Bruyne was onside, and I think it was the right decision, the flag, to come. Courtois clearing from his penalty area. I mean, he's been the nemesis, Courtois, hasn't he, of all of these Premier League clubs that Real Madrid have knocked out. In fact, their last, well, this is now a 6th consecutive Champions League knockout tie that Real Madrid have had against Premier League opponents, and they've won all 5 of the previous 5, including the final against Liverpool last season. Courtois in his 6-yard box plays the ball out of play. Pep Guardiola got a touch on that. Walker took a quick throw in towards Haaland, but Haaland is dispossessed, and Real Madrid have got it back with Alaba, who taps it across the 6-yard area. If you weren't listening earlier, no Militao, he's suspended for the first leg, obviously available for Manchester next Wednesday night. You'll hear that on 5 Live as well, and Radio Manchester, as Real Madrid bring it forward with Rodrigo and Vinicius. He goes down, Vinicius, having been nudged into by Rodri. Referee gives the free kick. Rodri doesn't like it, but it's a free kick to Real Madrid, 5 or 6 yards inside Manchester City territory.
I think the crowd were looking for a free kick on Rodrigo as he's running across the field. There was a couple of nudges and a couple of challenges on him, which they thought pulled his shirt, grabbed hold of him, it didn't blow, so he's give that one.
Much more even match.
Yes, it is.
Since the goal was scored by Real Madrid, as Kanji had to get a touch on that. He didn't know a great deal about it against Carvajal, but he's able to play it forward towards Grealish, and Grealish tempted Carvajal to foul him, but he didn't. Gundogan, and then ball played to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Lots of Manchester City substitutes warming up, by the way, way down on this side of the field on the touchline. Rodri approaching the edge of the area to Grealish. Grealish against Carvajal. Back to Rodri, who allows it to run. Kevin De Bruyne, touch on his left foot. Curling shot, but Courtois, his international teammate, was able to go down and just drop onto it and stop it.
Well, that's Kevin De Bruyne, 2 efforts, one just offside before. This time gets on his left foot, tries to bend into a bottom corner, comfortable save. Courtois.
1-0 to the defending champions, Real Madrid, who've won the competition, the Champions League, in 5 of the last 9 seasons. That's the modern domination, and of course won the first 5 of the original European Cup from 1956 to 1960. De Bruyne through the middle, Manchester City. Then Gundogan, Haaland with a chance, but an excellent blocking, sliding tackle from Alaba to deflect it wide for a corner, and Rudiger races across and taps his central defensive partner on the chest.
Yeah, they've enjoyed the challenge of Morgan Haaland tonight. They've done a great job on him so far. That was a brilliant challenge by Alaba, wasn't it? He just got there, his left foot, and blocked him, and it's a corner to Man City.
Super block. Looked as though he was about to pull the trigger. Haaland with a corner now. Corner to Manchester City. De Bruyne plays it to Bernardo Silva near the corner to Grealish. Then back to De Bruyne, who plays it into the back post, looking for the stretch of Akanji, who couldn't get there. Beyond him and behind for a goal kick to Real Madrid.
That's a bit like the first half, isn't it, really? Man City lost the ball, not positive in the final third, where Real Madrid like to keep possession themselves, but they give the ball away and they wait, they get it back, and they look very dangerous on the counter-attack. Here they go again.
On the counter-attack, Benzema, but it bounces up and is deflected infield by Stones, and by Rodri, who gives it to Stones, and now here's Bernardo Silva taking it all down the right-hand side, just flicks it back to De Bruyne, and then Rodri 25 yards out, Rodri thought about the shot, but then just lifts it to the right-hand side here to Walker. Kevin De Bruyne again. De Bruyne slips it in. Camavinga on the stretch just got to it and prevented it from running through to Bernardo Silva. And then Luka Modric again deep inside his own defensive third. Looks up as he always does. Plays with his head up.
Him and Cruz and that, they just see pictures, don't they? They very rarely give the ball away. The first touch is immaculate, and the next, if it's not one touch, it's two touches. They see the passes all over the park, and it looks easy, but I tell you what, it's not.
Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. That's Chris Waddle, once the third most expensive player in the world, admiring many of currently the world's most expensive players down there on the pitch. Don't know how many times you and I have commentated on Toni Kroos, but I know that he's one of your favourites.
Definitely. Great player.
Here's Valverde. This is good from Real Madrid. Vinicius again causing problems, moving infield from left to right, and then using Carvajal, who's joined the attack. Now, near the right corner of the box, Benzema and Rodrigo into the penalty area on the right-hand side. Now it's to the right, and a left-footed shot deflects off Stones on the edge of his own penalty area. Rodrigo, Vinicius with the shot on the edge of the box, hit Stones, could have gone anywhere, but it dribbled wide and behind for a corner.
He's got to work on his left foot, and Vinicius too. It wasn't the best effort, but a couple of deflections. Quick corner taken.
Corner is taken short. Real Madrid played square. Modric onto it, just outside the D. Square from him. Now on the edge of the area, a little dip of the shoulders and the shot which is deflected from the angle. The effort from Rodrigo, which is deflected up and over the top for another corner to Real Madrid, who lead by 1-0 with just over half an hour to play. Corner. Modric has gone across to take this one, just running his fingers through his lank fair hair as he leans over and places the ball in the quadrant. So Modric with this corner, which he plays to the corner of the penalty area. Valverde back to Modric. Modric picks out Kroos on the edge of the area. Shot blocked. Comes out to the left side of the penalty area. Vinicius Junior with the attempted cross, but that's blocked behind him. It is another corner for Real Madrid. Manchester City being stretched here.
Good football, isn't it? Simple corner, and it comes to. Well, it ends up on this left-hand side. I don't know. Vinicius Junior again tries to cross in another block. This is a good spell for Real Madrid.
Looking for the second goal. Real Madrid, who've comfortably seen off Liverpool and Chelsea in the last couple of rounds. Corner from the left-hand side then. Lots of movement in the box. Here's the delivery, and it's actually out to Valverde, who hits the shot, but it sails away high over the top of Ederson's crossbar and skims across all of that blue canvas that is over the construction area behind the goal to the
That's
right.
a good chance, good work corner. Valverde, we've not seen him. Neil in the half-time said not seen enough of him in the game. I totally agree with that, and he should have done a lot better with that.
Yeah, Neil Lennon with us on 5 Live at half-time, and indeed after the end of this match. But 5 Live Radio Manchester, listen as well via BBC Sounds, Football Daily in the morning as well, also from BBC Sounds with all of their fallout and reaction. Who knows where this will go next. Camavinga taking it on, but Rodrigo going with him. Just the referee says there was a pull on him, and he's brought it back for the free kick. And I think both Modric and Vinicius Junior are saying to referee Diaz, you could have let him go there.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Camavinga. He comes inside, it's definite free kick. I think he took the ball off him, John. He couldn't let him go.
Rodric with the challenge. Free kick is taken short. Kroos and Modric almost inevitably are having more influence on the game in the second period. And here is Valverde as well. Valverde to Rodrigo out there on the far side, and in comes the challenge from Diaz to put it out for a throw.
I just think City need to freshen it up. I think they've gone a little bit flat. Real Madrid's dictating the play.
You always know when Guardiola's thinking, don't you? Because he drops down onto one knee.
And he's had the subs warming up for a while now. I think he needs to change it.
Back up onto his feet now, hands on his hips. This is a real poser for him. Mentioned the fact that Manchester City rarely fail to score. The last time they failed to score. It was the last time they lost, that 1-0 defeat in the Premier League at Tottenham. Vinicius plays it to Benzema just outside the penalty area, and now it's taken on by Rodrigo. Back to Benzema, left side of the penalty area. Walker's with him. Benzema tries to work it across. It bounces off Grealish, who was back in there. They're saying Real Madrid, Valverde, that it bounced up and struck an arm in there, but referee Diaz is having none of that.
I didn't see that. I mean, we're about 4 mile away, but it is. But he doesn't know anything about that, does he? And there's no way that's a handball.
His arms by his side.
I mean, the fans are whistling and booing about it, but no way.
All right, they're on their feet in front of us. I'm looking down at them with all of their replica shirts on. I think they must be able to see screens somewhere there, claiming that VAR should have a look at that. But players carried on, and Real Madrid come again. Benzema, left corner of the box, into the area now, plays the ball forward. Walker committed himself and had to get the ball, but he did, Chris.
Great defending. He had one man come on the overlap. He reads it well, clears it. Real Madrid's having a good spell, by the way, in the City half. City have got a little bit sloppy, whether a bit tired.
Yeah,
they felt, they come out of the blocks, they dictated the game. Real Madrid have really dominated the second half.
That's why the feeling is up here anyway in the 5 Live commentary box that maybe it's time for a change. With Bernardo Silva on the right hand side for Manchester City. An equaliser, if they could get one now, that would be a great release. Bernardo Silva, and then Gundogan, left corner of the box. De Bruyne is there, curls it in towards the back post, looking for the arrival there of Bernardo Silva, but he couldn't get there, and it's through for a goal kick. Latest scores in the playoffs. Now Partick Thistle 3, Queen's Park 1, Airdrie 5, Falkirk 2. It was 5-0 at one stage. Alloa 1, Hamilton 0, and Annan 4, Dumbarton 0, and also East 5-0, Clyde 1. And those first legs being played tonight. This commentary's on 5 Live final score tonight as well, by the way, on the iPlayer, Red Button, BBC Sport website and app. Goal kick for the man in blue, Thibaut Courtois, long downfield. Then Stones takes it back into his own penalty area. Benzema's chasing him, so Stones carries the ball out towards the left-hand side, and it's passed up the line to Grealish, with Carvajal forcing him all the way back, and then Grealish tried to win the throw-in, but it didn't go out of play, and Real Madrid with Rodrigo, and Rodrigo's very strong there, but then there's a covering challenge from Diaz to sweep it behind for a corner to Real Madrid.
Rodrigo's come like the second half, was he? Great feet here, change of pace. We're always asking questions of two wingers, aren't they, for Real Madrid? When they pick the ball, they're very positive, great feet power. Rodrigo goes past 2 players, gets a corner out at him. You've got to say second half, definitely Man City first thought was a better team, but second half, it's all Real Madrid.
Rodrigo, remember how he scored those 2 late goals in the second leg here last season. Corner then for Real Madrid, deep to the back post, looking for Rudiger, but it was cleared away by Manchester City, who will break downfield now. And Kevin De Bruyne was available, but Bernardo Silva couldn't find him from just inside his own half. De Bruyne looking to make that run down the left. And Real Madrid have got it again. It's Camavinga who's over on the right-hand side, and he's looking for the run of Modric. And Modric has space here. That could be trouble. Back into the middle. And then it's played back by Rodrigo to Modric, and now Benzema with a shot on the edge of the penalty area. That is blocked, and it bounces back for Toni Kroos, who's able to play to the left of Vinicius, who's round Walker and away from Bernardo Silva, and then plays the ball across the penalty area harmlessly. He's saying that he got a touch, a deflection, but it should be a corner.
He's got a handball, I think. Is he? I think so.
Well, he's gone to referee Diaz and chased him, but the referee's saying that's a goal kick.
A brilliant turn on Kyle Walker. He's not had much joy against Walker, I've got to say. No, he can't get that
on by his side.
No.
It's deflected across the penalty area. So it's still Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 0. Manchester City, you can hear the pressure that the Bernabeu is trying to put on the officials. They've had a couple of penalty shouts there. Right decisions given by the officials, but the crowd making themselves heard. Stones, and then Rodri takes it on. De Bruyne controls it just outside the box, gives it to Bernardo Silva, a back heel from him. De Bruyne couldn't get there. In fact, Kroos got there first. De Bruyne caught him. Kroos went sprawling. So that's not given us a free kick. I have to say, that looked like he caught him. Throw in only.
To dive.
By Tony Kroos, Chris.
Well, you get 9 out of 10 now.
Rodri. Now to Akanji. To the left-hand side. To Grealish. And then Carvajal closed him down. Rodri takes it on, shoots, but thought too long about it. Was closed down by Modric, and the ball bounces away. And Benzema is able to play it to Camavinga. And Camavinga, Bernardo Silva in with a challenge. Manchester City have got it back. Walker turns, kept in play by Bernardo Silva. Real Madrid felt that was out, but Bernardo Silva stretched, kept it in. De Bruyne on the right-hand side. De Bruyne's cross hits Modric in the box and bounces back to Camavinga, who's able to play it forward, but quickly in. Rodri did very well there, but passed it behind Grealish. Grealish now up to the edge of the penalty area. Gundogan on his right foot. Kevin De Bruyne, right foot, flashes into the net. It's 1-1, and what a finish that is to make it all square in the first leg here in the Bernabeu. De Bruyne beats his international teammate Courtois, but there was no stopping that, and it's Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1.
For Kevin De Bruyne, such a great player, talented player. He's had quite a quiet evening tonight, hasn't he, really? But what a strike that is, and that's what he's capable of. He's got fantastic technique. And City press very high. They keep possession, they keep it loud. Grealish just squares it. Gundogan just rolls it and he hits it. De Bruyne, I don't think Courtois was sighted. I don't think he saw it very well, but it's a great strike along the floor. You don't save them.
Flew into the net. The net of the goal in the Bernabeu billowed. Slightly worryingly, play hasn't resumed yet, which in this day and age is you're never entirely comfortable until it has.
I can't see what they're asking about, John. What was the problem? Yellow card Ancelotti?
Oh really? Oh yeah, yellow card for Carlo Ancelotti, who they felt the ball was out of play, didn't they?
Yes.
Near the halfway line.
Yes.
When Bernardo Silva stretched and kept it in. But the fact is, that is not an area of VAR, whether the ball was kept in near the halfway line. The assistant clearly felt that it didn't cross the line. Carlo Ancelotti has argued the case, but play has not resumed yet. But my feeling would be, whether that was the same phase of play or not.
But you say they're not going to use it. How are they going to decide?
Well, I think play is about to resume. It is. The goal stands. It is Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1, and Kevin De Bruyne has reached double figures again in terms of goals for the season. And they needed that, Chris Waddle.
Yeah, you've got to say Real Madrid scored against the run of play first half, and you've got to say City second half scored against the run of play. So 1-1, and I think it's a fair result. I've got to say, during what I've looked at the game so far, it's been pretty even.
So 1-1, Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1. Second leg in Manchester next Wednesday night. On 5 Live tomorrow night, you'll hear the first leg of the All Milan semi-final. That is live from San Siro tomorrow night. And the ball going all the way back to Courtois on the edge of his 6-yard box. And bounces back for Rudiger to rifle the ball forward. And it's headed forward on the halfway line as well for Real Madrid. Modric for Benzema, but an important challenge from Bernardo Silva. Excellent work from him in centre field. But then John Stones has the ball nicked away from him by Modric, but then Walker does likewise to Vinicius, and the referee's brought it back.
Yeah, foul on Modric as he plays the pass. And Vinicius Jr. says he was in, he wasn't. I don't know why he's arguing about that.
So a free kick just forward of the centre circle. 20 minutes to play. Really good contest this, Chris.
Yeah, it's been excellent, I've got to say. I think City have been a bit more positive. They could win this game. I mean, De Bruyne has had a shot there. We haven't seen enough of that. He shoots and he scores.
Yep. Free kick taken short by Real Madrid, who are in possession inside the Manchester City half. And here's a cross from the right-hand side that Walker is underneath. To head it away, came off Grealish, could have bounced back to Rodrigo, and actually Gundogan's in trouble here. He turned into trouble and then fouled Benzema, and it's a free kick out towards the right side of the box, and a yellow card for the Manchester City captain for that.
He was very unlucky actually, John. He's thought he saw the dummy, and he's done a little turn, hasn't he? A little drag back. He's got caught. Carvajal read it, and now they've got a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Free kick, good position, 3 or 4 strides outside the right corner of the penalty area, and when you've got some of the talents that Real Madrid have, then this is truly dangerous. Manchester City have put up a wall from the angle, 3 men in that, and Toni Kroos is over the ball. Rodrigo as well. It's a little bit of pushing and shoving inside the penalty area. I think it's going to be Kroos to play it in from the right with this free kick for Real Madrid. Waits and waits. The referee's actually gone and just tried to calm things down in the middle, but they're still pushing and shoving. Grealish and Vinicius, and then back it's played by Rodrigo, who went for goal, but hit it wide and high at the near post from where he was looking at it. So it is a goal kick, and it's still Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1.
Well, wasted free kick, wasn't it? I think the second half's been a very even contest. I thought City dominated the first half, apart from the last 15 minutes. But this second half, it's been more open. Real Madrid actually looking for more goals.
Goal kick is taken by Manchester City. Ederson hit it long in the end, and Grealish headed it on. Here's Haaland on the left-hand side, being quiet in the second half, but Rudiger up for this battle, as Chris Waddle was saying earlier in the half, and it is very physical between the two.
He's been man-to-man marker. I've watched him. Alava's never picked him up at all. Rudiger's been with them all the time.
Antonio Rudiger, I think for what we know about him, that would appeal to him. The challenge of Haaland, and the kind of challenge that any top central defender would cherish, and they've been talking about this. Free kick is taken short. De Bruyne plays it to the back post, and Stone's trying to head it back across. Actually slightly off balance, just headed it straight behind for a goal kick to Real Madrid on this warm night. Real Madrid take the goal kick out towards the right hand side, headed on by Rodrigo, and then Diaz is able to play it back to Ederson on the edge of the box. 2 very well struck goals into the same goal. Vinicius Jr. in the first half, and Kevin De Bruyne with the equaliser in the second. De Bruyne, who scored in the semi-final last season, and indeed scored when Manchester City won here in the group stages of the Champions League. Here is De Bruyne again. De Bruyne approaching the penalty area, curls it in, but Rudiger's underneath that, dives forward, heads it away. Camavinga further away with his head, hair flying all over the place. Comes back to the little bearded Portuguese, Bernardo Silva, number 20 on his back. Rodri now, big figure, just passes the ball to De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva again, Camavinga, then back centrally. Rodrigo knew that Benzema was there, so first time touch to Kyle Walker, just where Pep Guardiola is standing. And then Manchester City go back into their own half. 15 minutes of this first leg to play, and it's all square. Bernardo Silva chests the ball down on the right hand side, plays it into Haaland, but it bounces up off the big man, who's still able to get a second touch on it. Give it back to Stones. Now back to Bernardo Silva again. Bernardo Silva away from Camavinga, and then back to Kyle Walker with his white wristband on. Kyle Walker infield to Ruben Diaz, and all 3 of the back line get a touch on this. John Stones, for the most part, has played as a midfielder in this match, and here he is now in that midfield position, right of centre, playing in midfield towards Bernardo Silva. It's a little short from John Stones, and Real Madrid have got the ball back inside their own half. Back to Kroos, and the number 8 turns, sees that pass down the right to Carvajal. Akanji comes across, got an important touch on that, and is helped out by Grealish, who is back there, and Carvajal, knowing that the danger was there, just pops it out of play for a throw.
It's such a fine pass game, and City are great in possession, aren't they? Keeping the ball. Real Madrid know the game. so many experienced players. They look dangerous when they nick the ball off City, but Man City again have took control of this football match. They're dictating the pace, they've got the football.
So it is a throw into Manchester City inside their own half. This only the fourth time that Manchester City have been in the semi-finals of this competition, and the previous three, the two they've lost, they've both been at the hands of Real Madrid. The one that they won on the way to Porto, remember, was against Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid trying to put pressure on City, but that's good play from Gundogan. Overhit the pass out to the right hand side. He actually beat the challenge initially brilliantly, but then overhit the pass. Real Madrid, for their part, incidentally, playing in what is only their 32nd semi-final in this competition. Here is Modric. Modric turns away, wriggles, and then actually loses out to Gundogan. Gundogan left-footed through to Haaland. First time touch from him. Grealish didn't give Gundogan much of a chance with that. Bounced off his chest. Valverde's able to take it away up the right-hand side. Valverde still going out towards the far side. Beats Akanji. Valverde into the penalty area. Might have been tugged back, but didn't go down. Kept his feet. Played the ball into the middle, and it was cleared away by Manchester City.
That's what he's capable of. He's got terrific pace, change of pace, and he's looking for Benzema to move, and Benzema just stood his ground. He did not move anyway, and ended up getting cleared.
Camavinga now near the edge of the penalty area. In comes the challenge from De Bruyne. Caught him. That's a free kick. Real Madrid, good position, left of centre, 25 yards out. Toni Kroos is quickly across into position.
There's a few in it. There's a few who fancy this. Well, I can't see him the shot here. Well, he's got the ability, but
Kroos is just leaning forward and making sure the ball is exactly where he wants it, and is now orchestrating things. It's hand gestures from Kroos, who comes up and clips it in right-footed. Benzema at the back post. Ederson gets down and makes the save. Just parries it away, and Manchester City clear it out for a throw.
I think Diaz is marking him at the far post. That's terrible marking, isn't it? Just a clip of the far post. I think he may have been offside anyway. It's a great save.
Save Ederson.
Yeah, brilliant save.
1-1 remains the score. 5 Live, Radio Manchester from the BBC, and Real Madrid take the throw back towards the halfway line. And all the way back to Alaba. Kroos has dropped deep again. Here's another one of those passes from Toni Kroos, still going after all these years. Carvajal, then with a touch to Valverde, and now Rodrigo on the right hand side, little busy figure of the other 22-year-old Brazilian winger, and then back to Valverde again. Valverde, this first leg very much in the balance here, and then Camavinga overruns it after a poor initial touch, and that's a yellow card for the Real Madrid man. Just poor touch, miscontrolled it, and then stretched into the challenge on Rodri.
Terrible first touch, and he's had a good game as well, Camavinga. He goes into midfield, he's not afraid to step in there.
On 5 Live in the morning, by the way, and breakfast from 6 o'clock, Rachel and Rick will have all the news on the other big European semi-final tonight, Eurovision in Liverpool. So we'll have that in the morning, and also the NFL star JJ Watt will be on breakfast in the morning about why he's invested in Burnley. What have you spotted, Chris?
Ascensio's coming on now.
So the evergreen Marco Asensio.
That'll be for one of the wingers, you would think.
Yeah, great experience as well from him. Nearly 300 appearances for Real Madrid. Real squad man, isn't he? The number 11. Indeed, more than that at times. Scored in the Champions League final in Cardiff when Real Madrid beat Juventus. So 1-1 on the night, and this, Chris, will be the first change from either side.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought
there's 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a few more, but
suits the commentator.
It's finely balanced. We know City's probably won on possession, but on chances and whatever, I think it's quite even. It's been a very good game.
Yeah. I think with 5 substitutes, sometimes, Chris, as a commentator, I begin to think that I'm going to be sent absolutely stark staring mad sometimes by teams making multiple changes, so it's very welcome.
Oh look, there's 5 coming on now.
Yes, Grealish on the left hand side, Rodri back to Akanji. But I mean, it is a point. You were thinking that maybe Mahrez should have been used.
I still think he would have affected the game definitely. He goes past players. You know,
misplaced pass from the far side from Grealish, way over the head of Bernardo Silva, and here is the change, and it is going to be Rodrigo coming in.
Maybe Johnny's looked at it and Pep's thinking it's a good result. There's not many teams win at Man City, is it?
Well, they've won every game that they've played in the Etihad Stadium this year.
They'll be looking at that. So, yeah, I can see why he thought, why do I have to win it here?
So Marco Asensio, who scored in the previous round, the home win against Chelsea in the 2-0 victory, and he is a straight swap for Rodrigo on the right. So less than 10 minutes to play plus added time. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1.
That's all coming up.
And also Carlo Ancelotti is going to make a second change as well. Tchouaméni is going to come on into the midfield. Well, Modric and Kroos have had fitness issues recently.
I think it may be Modric,
with Kroos moving into a more advanced position. Manchester City. Gundogan back to Diaz. And now the ball is played out towards the right hand side. Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne with a touch. Bernardo Silva again looks up, rolls it infield, and Rodri turns to his left, finds Akanji, who brings it down on the top of his right thigh, and then just knocks it back into the centre circle. At 1-1, it is brilliantly set up for next week, but it could change yet. Remember the late drama in the match that they played in the semi-final last season, and the late goals that were scored then. Manchester City would absolutely love to turn the tables on Real Madrid with a couple of goals of their own. Diaz, Manchester City still in possession, and then Walker will play it back towards the edge of the penalty area.
I think City are happy with a draw, rightly so.
There's definitely a feel of that, isn't there?
A very professional performance by Manchester City. I think they believe, take them back to Manchester City, they can get the result they need.
Ederson passes it out to John Stones, who will run it away forward into the centre circle, and then move back onto his right foot, play it here to Kyle Walker. Now Bernardo Silva on the right hand side, 2 men on him, comes off Camavinga, bounces out of play. The referee says the final touch is off the Manchester City man. Just waits to be seen. Yep, changes. It's actually Kroos who's coming off. So it's a straight swap. Tchouaméni, the French World Cup man. In fact, the last goal that he scored was that goal against England in the quarter-final in Qatar. But Toni Kroos, off he comes, and is warmly applauded by all of the Real Madrid fans down in front of us. And Tchouaméni comes on to replace him. So it's second change from Carlo Ancelotti. Throwing for Real Madrid.
And he's had a yellow card, Cruz, hasn't it? So
he has. So the throw-in is taken, and they win another one, almost right on the halfway line. Camavinga has Vinicius in front of him, Modric at close quarters as well. Camavinga still waits to take this throw. The special Champions League semi-final ball in his hands, and there's a flick over the top from Vinicius, but Walker wasn't going to let him get past like that. Bernardo Silva is then dispossessed by Camavinga, who blatantly throws himself down. There might have been contact there from Rodri, that probably was contact, but the dive from Camavinga, come on.
Yeah, definitely, it wasn't the best. We'll get a replay of it. So what he gets here, I think he'll get 8.4 for that.
That's a terrible dive.
Well, the referee stood a yard away.
Well, that, without question, for Chris Sutton at the weekend, that is one for the simulation game. Camavinga. Free kick. Modric playing it forward towards the corner of the box. Full-time scores are in the playoffs. Put the ball to the edge of the area. Modric now, but could challenge the ball. Oh, and then Bernardo Silva catching Vinicius near the corner of the box. That's a yellow card for the Manchester City man. Just nicked away from him by Vinicius.
You feel for him, John, because he's got his eyes on the ball. Vinicius Junior comes from nowhere. He just goes to clear it, and he appears. I mean, that is a total accident. He didn't mean that at all.
He just swung leg at the ball, and kicked the man So it's a free kick that Modric will take now that Kroos is off the field. I think there's going to be another change for Real Madrid. Nacho, the experienced Nacho, is waiting to come on, but let's see what happens here. Modric, again, he's just running his fingers through his hair, that hairband of his. The little man, the great Croatian, with this free kick, right-footed, plays it in ever so delicately, and it's headed away. Manchester City head that is bouncing out of play for what will be a corner for Real Madrid.
I don't think you make the sub yet.
Rudiger down there whips his arms up into the air.
I think he's going to score from the corner.
Well, Asensio is going to take this corner, but first Nacho is coming on for Modric. Well, as I say, Modric has had a problem. It was a hamstring injury. He came on as a substitute in the final on Saturday night. So Carlo Ancelotti having to balance that. And Nacho comes on and takes up a position, and he has a bit of height. Nacho, corner then, 1-1 the score. Asensio with the corner, whips it into the near post, but Ruben Dias was underneath that for Manchester City and headed it back out to Asensio. And the Real Madrid number 11 plays it back into the centre circle. Here's Camavinga, now the number 12. Head to the left-hand side, Vinicius Junior, the Real Madrid goal scorer tonight. Back to Camavinga, and then all the way back to Carvajal, who's going to turn on and use his goalkeeper behind him. 3 minutes to go, 3 minutes of the 90 to go, then added time as well. John Stones says to his teammates, I'll deal with this, which he does, heads it to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva actually taking the ball back into his own right back position and playing a left-footed ball across the pitch to Akanji. Controls that, uses Diaz, lifts it forward towards the Manchester City goal scorer, Kevin De Bruyne. And then De Bruyne infield to Gundogan, and Manchester City again have it inside their own half. Yep, they'll take this, bring the ball and play it back down to walking pace.
That's a great result.
It's not the roller coaster, the thrills and spills of all of the goals that we had in the 4-3 in the first leg last season in Manchester, but it has been a really, really good contest to watch. De Bruyne allows the ball to run, and it's been taken on by Grealish. And Grealish over the halfway line, he's got Haaland ahead of him, rides the challenge but then couldn't find the pass. Passed it straight into Rudiger, who celebrates actually blocking that by punching the air with both fists. Don't know if you see that, do you? There's Vinicius inside his own half. Vinicius against Walker as well, and then turns and runs away with the, you know, he's enjoyed this challenge, Kyle Walker.
Yeah, he loves anything like that, doesn't he? Everybody says he's going to run you, he's going to beat you, and he's really enjoyed it.
Well, I spoke to him after the Fulham game and mentioned to him that, remember, Pep Guardiola said he wasn't sure Walker could play in his system. And, you know, that's management, isn't it? That was a challenge to Kyle Walker, as he readily admitted in that interview. Ball played forward for Real Madrid. Benzema is beaten in the air by Diaz. And now Carvajal wins it against Grealish on the far side. Then plays it into Benzema. Now it's found its way to Asensio. Asensio, middle of the half, square. Nacho takes this on. Nacho, who's taken over on the left-hand side of defence. Here's Vinicius moving in field. Square from him. Valverde on his right foot. Out to the right-hand side to Carvajal. Valverde's continued his run. Into the full-back position, he takes the ball. Carvajal, Camavinga with a flick. Benzema, back to goal. Then back for the right-footed shot. That is superbly saved by Ederson. The shot from Tchouaméni, that was on target. He's never scored for Real Madrid, and only Ederson kept him out there.
What a save. Tchouaméni gets cut, what a little layoff, and he just wraps his right foot. Oh, great striking. Gets his right arm up with a strong wrist and pushes it away for a corner, which they've taken.
Corner, taking it short. Now it's lifted in from the right-hand side to the back post and headed away well. Still 1-1. Vinicius curling one goalwards to hit Bernardo Silva, then hit Grealish. More shouts for handball, but I think Bernardo Silva had his hands crossed behind his back. And there are 3 minutes of added time. Well, remember what happened in added time in the semi-final here last season. And there's a miss in midfield for Real Madrid, but Kevin De Bruyne's long pass forward towards Haaland was easily caught by Courtois. Ball hits the referee, so he'll have to stop play for an uncontested drop ball. 3 minutes of added time. The home supporters have raised the noise levels again. Tomorrow night, join us on 5 Live when Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin will have commentary from San Siro. And then Thursday night, live from the London Stadium, West Ham against AZ Alkmaar. And you will hear Manchester City's match on 5 Live and Radio Manchester on Sunday afternoon when they go to Goodison Park. One of our many commentaries this weekend. Vinicius Junior does ever so well on the halfway line and then finds a pass to Camavinga, who's into the penalty area on the left hand side, turns one way then the other, and his ball across is blocked by Walker, who's able to clear it to Haaland on the halfway line. But Real Madrid back in possession.
His decision making there was poor. He's got to hit that across the 6-yard line. Benzema's at the far post. He's trying to work himself a yard to get the shot. His right foot's his weak part of his game, isn't it? And he's trying to push out his right foot to get a shot.
Well, he's now playing in a more advanced position, isn't he, Camavinga, with Nacho having come on as the left back, and then Haaland dispossesses Camavinga inside his own half. Haaland as well under pressure finds De Bruyne. De Bruyne running it forward. He's been chased by Rudiger, and De Bruyne couldn't find the ball in field to Haaland. Instead it rolled right into the path of Alaba.
It's not happened by Kevin De Bruyne supplying Haaland tonight. Haaland's been closely marked by Rudiger. You've got to say he's done a brilliant job on him. Kevin De Bruyne scored a wonderful goal, but they've kept him very quiet as well.
Yeah, 2 very good goals, and we've got 1 minute of the added time at the end of this first leg to play. Real Madrid in possession. Valverde, the drums, the Real Madrid drums, setting the rhythm as they continue to move forward. Benzema has dropped very deep. His last 11 Champions League goals have been against Premier League opponents, but none tonight so far. Nacho, then to Vinicius, might be the last attack of the match. Vinicius beats Bernardo Silva, still going, and then curls the pass out towards the right hand side. Carvajal takes that down. Carvajal up against Grealish, who stands on the corner of the box, then in field towards Camavinga on his left foot, now all the way across to Nacho, and Nacho goes for goal. That took a deflection. Ederson stretches high and catches the ball at the back post.
Yeah, again, Real Madrid have dominated the last 5-10 minutes, haven't they? But again, not a lot for the goalkeeper to do. It was a wonderful save before, obviously. His right hand pushes that away.
Well, and that's it. He trusts this team. Pep Guardiola hasn't made a single substitution tonight. Not for the first time, but that's the final whistle. That's the end of the first leg. And the two managers walk calmly across and shake hands, Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti, and they say to one another, very good, let's do it again next Wednesday.
It'll be a positive result. You'll definitely say City playing away, great result to take them back to the Etihad, but is it a great result? Will Real Madrid enjoy going to the Etihad and thinking we've got nothing to lose? Everybody's expecting Man City to sail through now. Man City tonight, you've got to say, control a long part of this game, the way they've had possession, but I think they could have been a little bit more positive in the final third. I think they could have come away with a better result than this. But Real Madrid know how to manage games, and you've got to say at times some of their football was great on the eye.
Well, in both of the knockout rounds so far this season, Manchester City have drawn away in the first leg against Leipzig and then hammered them in Manchester, and then in the second leg against Bayern Munich, and now it's a draw here in Madrid as well. A fascinating game, 2 excellent goals, Vinicius Junior in the first half, and then Kevin De Bruyne equalising in the second. So it has finished here in the Bernabeu. Handshakes all round. Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1.